Well, I am beyond excited about this. When I was chatting with John for those months and months about coming on board, they did let me in on, of course, whenever a company talks to you about proprietary information, you sign an agreement, you're not going to talk to anyone about what's going on. And so I heard some of the background, and I thought, this is really curious. Marine biologics. I like that thought. Why I'm so excited about it is I've done, again, a lot of reading. I know what kind of effort went into literally, and Kendra wasn't joking, searching the world over and finding a very unique island that has just an amazing look into what is in pristine ocean waters, and I'll talk to you about that. There are carotenoids in seaweeds, but there are also these exciting compounds in plant products, and when you extract essential oils from, say, the apricot kernel or the cranberry, these have biologically active compounds. And that might seem, does that seem perplexing that plants have, I don't want to use the word drugs, but that they have compounds that can do some good? Does that ever seem bizarre to you? Yeah, go ahead, say yeah. It was to me early on in science. Well, think about this. I always say this, lycopene is a carotenoid. It's the red in tomatoes. The red in tomatoes is lycopene. I live in California in a town called Davis, and our big joke is you got to watch the tomatoes on the road in the summer because tomato trucks come in, they harvest tomatoes for tomato sauce, ketchup, the whole bit. And it gets to be 100, 110 in Davis. So there's a tomato, these acres of tomato fields, and there are tomatoes out there, and they're sitting in the bright, hot sun. If you sat all day in the bright, hot sun, what would happen to you? You'd shrivel, just be a mess. The tomato looks as good as ever. As good as ever. Why? Because it has lycopene. It's an antioxidant. It protects that tomato from the sun's rays. Why is that a big deal? Because the sun's rays can disrupt the chemical structure of a variety of important compounds to the tomato. What's the tomato's job? To reproduce. Yes, to make ketchup, but it just doesn't know that yet. But when you think about it, that tomato is going to do everything it can to ripen up, so perhaps a bird comes along, eats it, takes the seed, deposits it somewhere, and it grows into a new tomato plant. So that tomato has to have all the protection in the world. So does the seaweed. So does a cranberry. So does an apricot kernel. So that's why plants are loaded with thousands of protective compounds that we get the benefit of enjoying and gaining some health benefits from. So we have essential oils. I hope that helped. That was like off topic in a way. Okay. So we have all these essential oils. So these are fat soluble, important because of the lipids or fats on our skin. 10 different botanical extracts. So we know that these plants, again, have very important compounds that can have some invigorating effects. Has anybody grew up getting witch hazel put on your skin? Okay, that's a very, very effective. It can be both calming in some sense and help lighten or brighten, not lighten in terms of tone, but just feeling that way on the skin. Things like cornflower water, ginseng, ginkgo, so many different, very positive, and you'll get more information on those exact ones. The Scientific Advisory Board, again, I'm so impressed with every ingredient in each one of these products makes sense, makes science sense. And now I'm going to convince you about the skin. We're in a new era of skincare health. We're understanding better as we've learned more about our insides, we have learned more about our outside. And the Scientific Advisory Board has recognized that and has been on this quest for some time to modify the line, to address the new knowledge. But I'll tell you what you see out in the world of skincare hasn't addressed it yet, has yet to. So we're going to get a little lesson on skincare. All right, what do you see in that picture? Youth, just youth, lovely skin, For those of you who don't have skin like that, you wish you did. What I want all of you to do right now is think about a part on your body that comes close to youthful skin. It's soft. It hasn't, I don't want to get personal, but I know that we all have a spot. You know, is it behind your ear? Is it under your, by the side of your armpit? Just think about it for a second. Think about where it is. Don't share. Unlike Josh, I'm not going to say turn to your neighbor and tell you where it is because I don't want any issues. But just think about that skin. Now, as Kendra said, this skin it's really the ticket to your health. It's a barrier. It's an immune organ. We don't think about it that way. And I'll tell you, I don't think many of us treat it that way. We tend to just think of beauty, and when we get old, we go, I don't want the wrinkles. I'd rather you think about, I want to age. I want to optimize my skin's function. I want to be healthy. I want my family, my friends, the people in my community to be as well, and keep this barrier healthy as long as you possibly can. Unfortunately, we do things that we may not be aware does anything but keeps it healthy. From the clothes we wear, the environment we're in, what we put on our face. I don't know about you, but I was taught to take a bar of soap and scrub up and clean my face up. And that was it. And then you feel real taut and, oh, great, I got really clean. Maybe you got clean, but you actually destroyed part of this barrier function that we're going to talk about. Now, let's watch this young girl. So, now, I don't want us to think, oh, gosh, that's bad. It's not bad. With age comes what? Wisdom. And it's good, and it's wonderful to be here. What we want to do is optimize our aging, biological aging. And we want healthy skin to keep what's out. There are a lot of pathogens, we don't want cracks in our skin. We don't want weak and thin skin. We want to try to optimize that. So I want you to think about skin health rather than this being an issue of not having wrinkles. We want to keep our skin healthy. So let's do a little lesson on skin. Think of this square that you're seeing as this is kind of gross, I've taken a square paper punch and punched into your skin. I've pulled out this square plug, and I'm looking at it, okay? And I'm looking into it. Those little pokey hairs are at the outside. They're on the outside. And I have the top couple of layers, 4 to 5 layers, called the epidermis. Say it. Epidermis. You're going to be using these words, epidermis. And the epidermis, you'll see, has some layers, and there are new cells in that orangey kind of layer right here. Let me poke it out right over here. And moves on up to the surface. And if you're young, like Kendra's young, and so her skin cells rejuvenate, replenish in about 28 days. Once you hit your mid-30s, your 40s, guess what? It goes downhill. It doesn't turn over as quickly. Your ability to rejuvenate decreases. Not to moan about, but let's treat our skin with regard. The next layer is the dermis. Pretty thick and structural. You'll see circulation. Those are capillaries, blood going through, delivering nutrients, taking away waste. It's a very thick layer. It does thin with aging. There's a subcutaneous fat layer. That is good. Sometimes we hear fat, oh, I don't want that. No, you want this subcutaneous layer of fat. And it actually gets thinner as you get older. Subcutaneous fat layer thins. In fact, all of this does. And any of you that are, I'm just going to guess, in your 60s and 70s, do you notice that when something break open or bruise, or it's not good. It's upsetting visually. It's thin skin. Everybody, just wait till you're there. Okay, it happens. You can't beat it. It happens. But you can help. You can optimize your thin skin thickness by taking care of it. Now, let's go back to the dermis. The dermis has three things I want you to think about. There's something that on top rests a film, which you might go, I don't want a film on my skin. Yes, you do. It's called the acid mantle. Oh, that doesn't really sound friendly, does it? Not really, but you want the surface of your skin to be slightly acidic. What does that mean? What does pH mean? Who knows? Well, we'll talk about it. What's the temperature in this room? Anybody know?
Cold.
20, oh, you guys are metric. I don't know this very well. Okay, so you know about what the temperature is, and you know where your comfort zone is. pH is kind of the same thing. It's a measure of acid. Acid can be disruptive to cells if it's too acidic. If it's too low in acid, basic, it can also be disruptive to cells. Your skin is best when it's slightly acidic. It allows the right bacteria to grow on its surface. It gives the integrity. So you want it to be at a pH roughly of around 5, 5.5, in that neighborhood. That's called the acid mantle. So most products, most cosmetics, most skincare items are a high pH. They disrupt it. You know that sort of dry feeling you get when you use soap? Very alkaline, high pH. It's a room temperature that's not comfortable. It's too hot. And a room temperature that's too cold, maybe too acidic. So think of it as a gradient. pH is a gradient measuring acidity. The next layer is also not another good word. It doesn't sound that great. Outer horny layer. It actually has, of course, a Latin name that's worse. But what I want you to think of that layer is think of a green grass lawn. New shoots are coming up. They're coming up, and now they're at their best. They're right on the surface. You can see all this great blades of green grass. That's the horny layer. And then it's going to shed. All right? Then you're going to come along, cut your grass, and the blades are going to die, and it goes away, and guess what? You have more coming up. You have more coming up if you're watering your lawn. You have more coming up if you're feeding your lawn. You have more coming up if the pH is right, the temperature is right. If it's too cold, you're going to freeze everything out. If it's too hot, like in Davis, everybody had brown lawns, okay? Because we are on water restriction. California, we always have something bad going on, I'm convinced, at the time. Okay, so that's the layer, a little skin anatomy. Now let's add the bacteria to it. We want bacteria on your skin. If you went along every day and took hand sanitizer and wipes and wiped yourself up all the time, and I understand it's bad flu season and many things like that, you actually would disrupt this dermal biome. I know it's a fancy word for skin bacteria. Skin bacteria, you want them there. Why? Because they, along with the skin, actually keep other things out. Remember, your skin is an immune organ. It's the barrier. It's your first line of defense. Picture if we stripped your skin off and you walked into a room of people with the flu. You're going to get it a whole lot faster because it has a direct entry. And that's dramatizing it, but you have that skin to protect you. These bacteria exist in sweat glands, in oil glands as well, and you want them to be there to help support healthy skin. They help maintain that skin barrier. Our goal is to maintain skin barrier health. That's what whenever you get a product, you want to make sure it addresses that. And these microbiome, the bacteria, require the pH to be acidic. They need a certain temperature to optimally live. That's all we're really saying. So let's go back to that really soft spot on you. Visualize it, everybody. How come it's so soft? How come it doesn't, no offense, but how come it doesn't look like the surface of your hands or your face? It wasn't subjected to the sunlight, dry heat and air. It stayed moist. It most likely, you didn't have the damaging effects of UV light. Maybe it's away from clothing, the site that you're on your body. Clothing can actually be, if you wore sequins every single day, for those of you who, I like them, that actually is rough and irritates. I mean, so you have to, that's an extreme, you have to think about that. So the fact that we are exposed to these things, and if on top of it you use harsh skincare products, it makes it worse. So what we want to do is prevent this barrier breakdown. Whatever you do, think about and pass on that it is about a healthy lifestyle. Research published in many journals, one in particular, American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, looked at a healthy diet, and in those people who consumed healthy diet on average over time, ample fruits and vegetables, etc., had fewer wrinkles. Why? They had better skin barrier function. And then when you look at them later, they're able to maintain this healthy skin barrier function, and that means less likelihood of transmission and invasion of pathogens into their body. We know that ample water, other fluids, getting enough sleep. How many people are really recognizing sleep and chronic ailments, the lack of sleep, and heart disease and diabetes, and that's very important. Managing stress. You know, we'd love to have a pill to help us manage stress, but we don't want to go there. We have to find a balance, and that's so important as well. Being adrenalized, amped up all the time, is a challenge for your system, however you get amped up. And routine exercise. Your skin needs circulation, and when we exercise routinely, it's part of our fabric to go out and work out or be physically active. That fuels and feeds your skin. It's the what organ blank. I don't have a raffle prize to pass out, but it's size-wise, what's the skin as far as organs go? Like your heart, your brain, it is the largest. Don't forget that. Treat it that way. All right, so if I told you, I'm giving you messages now, if I said, hey, I want you to take care of your heart. I want you to have a healthier heart. Would I give you a recipe to do just one day and that's it? What would I probably tell you? Regular, routine. Same goes for your skin. We're talking routine. You have to take care of your skin just like you do your heart and your brain and your whole body. It's so important to do that. So we're talking about a quality skincare routine that what you choose to put on your skin, what you have your loved ones and other people in your community, you want that line to protect your skin barrier function. That's what you're interested in. You want to keep the integrity of your skin. So the Nutriance line, and I'm going to go through the different items, but it's essentially a 3-step process. You're counting the bottles. How many bottles do you say? 4. That doesn't equal 3. I'll explain, and you'll get more later today with more background information. But the whole point is to approach respecting your skin barrier by cleansing and detoxifying. Your skin's that barrier. It's got some items that you don't want on the surface. You want to get rid of it. You want to try to ready your skin, the second step, try to balance, invigorate, get your pores ready to accept the nourishment for those cells you want to activate to renew, to give you a new horny layer. Now, I don't know if you want to describe it that way. That is the name of it, but you want that new healthy surface. Now, I do want to point out that unlike most skincare lines, this is Cosmos certified organic. This is for cosmetics, skincare products, that organic ingredients are used. The sea kelp, water by definition can't be organic because it's H2O. It's complicated, or not really, but this is pure, pristine water, monitored for impurities. And the botanicals, as well as the essential oils, same thing. So this is important to point out. What I want to show you is that as we go through the steps, you want to use products that are gentle acting, and this is pH balance, which is just like the room temperature. You want to keep it within the range your skin wants. You want to support that skin barrier function as well as be biocompatible. If you ever put a product on your face or somewhere and you notice It's like, whoa, that doesn't seem, you might think it's good. I used to think so. But it's basically your body telling you, this isn't matching with what I need, with what is compatible with the cells I have on the surface of my skin. All right, so there are two versions. One for a drier, what's called normal to dry. Again, I don't like using the word normal. That doesn't mean somebody else is abnormal. Or who watched the movie Young Frankenstein? Anybody? Abby normal? Okay, that's inside joke. Never mind. Okay, so normal to dry skin and combination to oily. So we have it separated. This is not a function of skin tone, color. It is the surface of your face and how you would categorize. And you could change off and see which one works best, and you'll get more of that when Kendra discusses. I want to point out that all of these products have been clinically tested for the benefits at clinical laboratories in Europe, in France. 4 weeks of using the product or more in over 100 subjects. Not animal tested. There are no animal products in the line. So this is human tested. And human tested for the benefits, and that's important. Again, it's that science behind NeoLife. So the first thing to do, and this doesn't apply to everyone, this isn't step one, this is just to get going before you do the 3 steps, and that is to take off makeup. So if anyone is wearing makeup, it helps remove that. You may not utilize this. It may not be something all of your folks will want to do. But I do want to point out that you do want that surface of any kind of oily makeup or other types of products you want it off. And this particular product utilizes essential oils, such as citrus oils, to help do that lifting out of makeup. Then the first step is for the normal to dry is to cleanse and detoxify. So remember that skin is on the outside of you, and it's taking in what's on the outside of you, and we need to open up the pores and lift that out. The cleansing milk has in it the chamomile water, wheat peptides, and it literally feels like milk. This is luscious. I would just go all day with this on, but it might look a little strange long term. It really does leave your skin feeling soft and hydrated. So this is step 1 to cleanse and detoxify in the combination to oily. It's a water-based cleansing gel because people with slightly oilier skin make their own oil out of their sebaceous glands, and so we don't want to add more to that, which could be too much extra for the sebaceous glands. So this has more water-based, so red seaweed extract and the others. So I want you to, and you'll learn more about some of these items that are in there, and leaving the skin feeling really good. And I've tried this one as well. So step 2 is the same for both skin types. And this is a balancing tonic. And I really enjoy this product because it really feels, not that I've measured biocompatibility on my own skin, but when you put it on, you see it just matches, it blends. A lot of times when you use astringent, prepare your face from what you use something astringent, and you know it's not right, but you think it is because somebody showed you to do it, early on, that's what you need. It's very light, it's pH balanced, it has this cornflower water in it, ginkgo, and some brown seaweed extract. Again, the water soluble. Really, it's preparing your face for the nourishing and activating step. So it's opening up pores, and you simply move on to the 3rd step, and this is 2 different ones for normal to dry, and then I'll go over the other combination skin. What your goal is here is first with the ultra hydrating serum, and it's the same over here, is with the pure seawater and the seaweed extract and hyaluronic acid, which sounds maybe scary, but it really is food for your cells. To get into that deeper layer, it permeates, and nourishes those skin cells because we want them to renew. Every 28 days roughly, and as you age, it's longer than that. So you need to get through a couple of skin cycles. As Kendra pointed out, she noticed right away, I noticed right away just a hydrating feeling. And as your skin cells renew, you'll see the difference. There's also the wrinkle-fighting complex in the B, the ultra moisturizing cream. And here's what you do is put on part A and then follow it with B. And you'll learn about putting on the ultra hydrating serum and putting on the ultra moisturizing cream. So you're activating and nourishing those cells, and that's your final and third step. For the combination skin, we're looking at both of those, but they're a little bit different because there's less oil in it. The hydrating serum has red seaweed, the seawater, sea fennel in it. Now remember, these are plants. The seaweed are plants, marine botanicals, that have these active ingredients. And the wrinkle-fighting complex is there, nourishing that deep layer that will grow migrate to the surface. And then you basically lock it in, so to speak, with the moisturizing cream on top. So it's these two together that make up step 3. And that's a play on words. Has anybody seen that? Okay. It's a difference you can see, and absolutely. Now what I want to show you is just one clip from the research. Just one snapshot. And what was done here is taking the ultra moisturizing cream, putting it on the face at time 0, that's the blue line, is the people getting the moisturizing cream. And the orange line is people receiving not the moisturizing cream, placebo. And a test is done to look at the moisture content of the skin, scientific test. So the more water in the skin, or when the skin is well hydrated and moisturized, this is going to sound weird, when you send a slight electrical current through it, it passes really well. When it's dried out and not moisturized, it doesn't conduct that current very well. That's really all this is. And the subjects felt no pain. Okay, so we're not shocking people and measuring something. So you can see that right after application, so let's say this was done in the morning, a marked increase in moisture content of the skin, and then it lasted a long time. And you'll learn more about what recommendations are to do it once a day or twice a day, but this is real science. This is what a lot of people don't do. A lot of companies don't take the time, the expense to do. So this is important to see. So I feel very confident that there's a tremendous amount of science to back up this exciting nature aspect of these products. The marine botanicals along with the essential oils, botanical waters, it's just incredible. And while I'm an N of 1, you'll hear from other people, I've been using it since I received some product in October. And Kendra, what'd you say, you were obsessed?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm addicted. It's like, I really enjoy it. And what I enjoy is I know I'm doing the right thing. I know my skin is feeling a lot healthier. And a lot of the subjects say that they feel their skin is more supple, more radiant. And what I want you to think about is, I don't know if a lot of men say, do I look radiant? Or some women may not be concerned about that. What I enjoy knowing is I'm taking care of my skin barrier function. I'm not disrupting the pH balance and the biome, the bacteria that are living there. I hope to have healthy skin well into however long I'm gifted to live, and have healthy skin that keeps what outside out and keep what is inside me in. So that, I hope, is everybody's goal. Thank you very much. It's great to talk to you about it.